Why is the federal government not considering the peace of the Southeast? I mean, the Southeast is not finding it easy, honestly. So, guys, the Secretary to Ohanaeze Ndigbo has come out to expose the Nigerian military and the Nigerian police on how complacent they are on Mondays when these sit-at-home orders are being issued. As in, people don't come out because they feel threatened and the security agents are not there to protect them. Also, economic activities are totally crippled. So, guys, this Secretary to Ohanaeze Ndigbo has come out to question the Nigerian army and the Nigerian police on why is it that ordinary days they will mount their checkpoints all over the places collecting money from the Southeasterners. But when it gets to that Monday that is sit at home, you will not find the security agents again anywhere. They will all go hiding. So, guys, this has ended up, planting fear in the lives of people. And that is why there is totally no economic activities, in the Southeast on Monday. It will even shock you to know that Tuesday has equally been included. And that is why you see many Southeasterners, migrating from the Southeast to other parts of the country. And guess what? The threats that they get from, all these other places. So, guys, I want you to take your time, relax, and listen to what this Secretary to Ohanaeze Ndigbo has got to say. Honestly, the federal government has to start paying attention to Igbo. I mean, things are not getting better at the moment, and they should also consider the release of Nnamdi Kanu so that Igbo will equally experience some level of peace. Just take a look for yourself.
It all began when a video showing an unidentified man ordering a sit-at-home in the Southeast on the first 2 days of this week went viral. It was purportedly issued by the insurgent group IPOB, but IPOB has denied this, urging people to ignore what it described as an obnoxious directive. Unsurprisingly, there are conspiracy theories galore, with some accusing the government of using criminals and infiltrators to issue the command in order to incite fear and to demonize the IPOB movement and make them look like the enemies of the people, a charge the government roundly denies. Meanwhile, the nerve-wracking, tense rhythm of insecurity continues across the Southeast, disrupting livelihoods and crushing the economy there. So what push is there for a way out? Who's doing what to try to end this infliction of unbelievable damage on the Southeast region? Well, for his assessment, I'm joined now in the studio by the Secretary General of the Igbo Elders Consultative Forum, Professor Charles Nweke. Good to see you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for the wonderful opportunity you've had me.
This sit-at-home issue has become something of a never-ending story, hasn't it? It's on again, off again, and now it's on again. What's the story behind this latest order as you understand it?
Well, it has taken a dangerous dimension, the sit-at-home and general insecurity in the Southeast. And Igbo Elders Consultative Forum has repeatedly made some, try to talk with the people, try to do a number of things.
Well, let's take it step by step.
Yes.
This latest order,
yes,
that was ostensibly put in place for Monday and Tuesday.
Yes.
What do you understand about how it came to be?
Well, I understand that for a number of people I talked to, they said that there was a directive from Simon Ekpa faction of IPOB, directing people to stay at home on Tuesday. It used to be Monday, but about 2 years ago, there was a Tuesday like that. And people didn't come out. I asked why. Why that order was issued, various state governments issued a counter one that people should ignore that. Surprisingly, people obeyed and stayed at home. I called some people around 4 p.m. this afternoon, And they told me they had not even opened their gates, young men, because of this. And I asked them why. I said, well, it's true that the state governments, Southeast state governments, Enugu, Anambra, that they assure people that nothing will happen, but that there were no concrete arrangements.
Basically, people don't trust the government
to protect the people.
Right, they don't trust the government.
They've lost confidence in government. They don't believe that government will do anything. And surprisingly, if you go to the southeast, every 500 kilometers, you see military and police checkpoints. But on Monday...
You mean every 500 meters, not kilometers?
Sorry, every 500 meters.
Right.
Please, thank you. Half a kilometer, you see police and military checkpoints. But on Monday, you go in most parts of southeast.
They're gone.
You don't see them showing. And the military, the police are federal agencies. On Monday, you don't see them. In fact, there was the occasion I was traveling. A security man had to remind me, he said, Prof, you don't know that today is Monday? The person that's supposed to protect people.
Right.
And so...
In other words, the person on whom the state governments are saying to have confidence in to protect you is telling you people that not to be there, not to be out on a Monday.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I traveled to the Southeast, and I was going to the airport to catch flight back to Abuja. And a security agent, I said, oh, guy, you don't know that today is Monday. I said, and so what? And so, you see, on that very Monday, the security agents, instead of staying to man the various places, you will not see them. But every other day, you see them on road.
Why do you think they're not there?
Because we believe that a part of the security challenges we are having in the Southeast are sponsored by external forces. I want to give an example. For example, you remember when the Owerri Correctional Center was invaded, for almost 3 hours, Owerri Correctional Center is a shouting distance from the State Police Command, equally a government house, about 10-minute drive from military base Obins. But the so-called unknown gunmen operated for close to 3 hours and no person was arrested.
But that's not unique to the Southeast.
It is.
Well, it isn't.
Because
there have been a lot of incidents in other parts of Nigeria,
yes,
including the north, where Boko Haram operate and bandits operate, where people have told the same stories that you're telling.
No, that of the Southeast is peculiar because Igbos generally are noted for non-violence. Igbos don't believe in violence. Traditionally, Igbos don't believe in violence. And even IPOB has repeatedly denied that they have no hand in this sit at home.
Yeah, but you said it was Simon Ekpa. Although Simon Ekpa came out and said he didn't ask anybody to stay at home.
He has also denied
Tuesday.
that.
Yeah.
He has also denied that. People said. But even Simon Ekpa has denied that. Nnamdi Kanu has repeatedly said that his hands are not in this sit at home. His colleagues in Apple have also repeatedly come out and said this. And we put it back to federal government to arrest the perpetrators of this insecurity in the Southeast.
Right, and you think that that is why it persists? Because I mean, it would be like shooting yourself in the foot, because the government needs economic activity in every part of the country in order for the country to grow. So if you're penalizing particularly a particularly commercial part of the country, then you're shooting everybody else across Nigeria. So it doesn't really make sense, does it?
No. You see that the Southeast generally is not there for business. Our people are business oriented. This sit at home has adverse effect on commercial activities.
Well, obviously, that's fairly obvious.
And we are not comfortable with this situation.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, how much has this persistence of insecurity in the Southeast got to do with the continued incarceration of the IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu? You mentioned him a minute ago.
Our leaders Chief Emmanuel Iwanyanwu. In fact, it was the last official assignment he had before he died, visiting Nnamdi Kanu at the DSS facility. Chief Dr. Opadike, the former governor of Anambra State. Then the other one, all of them in unison believe, the Igbo elders in unison believe that the release of Nnamdi Kanu is central to peace process in the South.
Yeah, but you just said a minute ago that Nnamdi Kanu said his hand is not in
yes.
So obviously someone is doing it. So people, why would his release have any effect on
that? Some
that?
people are using him as an excuse to perpetrate violence in the Southeast.
Right.
People use his name as an excuse to perpetrate violence. And we have repeatedly asked Mr. President to kindly release Mr. Nnamdi Kanu. Even at worst, grant him executive bail. Grant him bail. Let him come from home. Let's see now who we had under Nnamdi Kanu to perpetrate violence in the Southeast.
Right. I'm going to come back to that issue of how the problem can be solved. But you mentioned the fact that this has crippled or at least deeply affected economic activities in the Southeast. Just help us quantify, as far as you can, the economic losses that have been incurred in the Southeast as a result of things like this sit-at-home problem and the overall insurgency.
The losses run into billions of naira. For example, if you go to Aba, for example, I called some people in Aba where you have a number of SMEs operating. They told me there is an employer, I know he has about 1,500 workers. He told me that he had been at home since yesterday. Many of them. And this is not just the thing that you have youths that are now roaming. I don't mind, it's Devil's Workshop.
But that's across Nigeria.
Yes, I don't mind, it's Devil's Workshop. You can see that if this crisis in the Southeast, if this insecurity persists, time will come when many people, in fact, it will aggravate the unemployment situation. Because if you're an employer, 7 days of the week, you go only 4 times. Certainly, with time, it will affect your general output. And that means you may downsize. And by the time many SMEs downsize, you can imagine what will happen. So the unemployment market will saturate to the point that violence, greater violence, may visit the Southeast.
So how do you think this problem can be solved? Is there a military solution, or is the answer political, or a combination of the two?
That's a combination of this. Number one, the release of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu is central to peace process. 2, the political leaders of Southeast should do more. They're not doing more, and that's why people have lost confidence in them. Rather, people prefer to obey non-state actors. They should do more. Basically, the governor should come up and find a way of handling the issue. Some of these youths, whether they are Igbos or non-Igbos, create economic activities for them. And some of them will help in governance. 2 or 3, we've advocated for state police. That one may be a long-term thing, but we want a situation where the federal agencies should begin to post indigenes to their place. If you post Igbos in Igboland, policeman, military man, if they don't work, of course, they will work. It's just any state, you post the indigenes there. As police officers, as military officers, they will work. So before we get the state police approved, let Inspector General of Police begin to post senior police officers to their state of origin.
Right. Okay, well, let me take you up on something you mentioned earlier, which is 2 things, actually. One is the potential political solution to the problem, and the other one is the governors of the Southeast region being more proactive in seeking that political solution. Some have said that even if they came together and said, okay, let's pick IPOB, for example, and sit down and negotiate with them,
Yes.
that IPOB itself has become factionalized, with one group still loyal to Nnamdi Kanu, another to Samuel Ekpa, and possibly a third shadowy branch. Does that make it more difficult for them to have some kind of negotiated settlement?
It will not be a problem. As a matter of fact, we talked with some of them, and they're all willing for peace. We talked with some of them. As a matter of fact,
you said some, not
yes,
all of them.
I wouldn't claim to have talked with all of them, but I know, including myself, we talked with a number of them. We explained to them the need to have peace. We explained to them that whatever is happening is affecting our people more. And the number of them are what?
Yeah, but you know, there's a big difference between a political wing that you can see and talk to and a military wing of an organization. I mean, I remember, for example, the IRA in Northern Ireland.
Yes.
You know, I mean, the IRA, Sinn Féin was their political wing.
I agree with you.
And they would sometimes go out and say things, and the IRA would do something completely different.
When I said their leaders, I mean the political wing, the people that actually command them. We visited Nnamdi Kanu, as I told you. That was the last assignment Chief Emmanuel Iwanyanwu did before he died. We visited him, he spoke. In fact, this afternoon I talked with the MASOP leader and the others. So bringing them together will not be a problem.
Right.
If the political leaders have the will to do that.
So why do you think they don't have the will? Is there some sort of political or pecuniary gain for the continuation of the crisis in the region for those politicians?
Yes, some of them are not interested. It's alleged that some of them believe that they are not popular enough because people somehow believe in Nnamdi Kanu because of a number of things.
So you think they'd rather keep him incarcerated?
So a number of things.
But some of those governors have come out and have led delegations to the presidency to try and get him released.
Yes, that is recently. As a matter of fact, when we got there, Nnamdi Kanu accused some politicians of being
lukewarm.
Not just lukewarm, that some politicians contributed to his continued incarceration. He mentioned some names. I wouldn't want to go into that because I wouldn't say I verified the facts. But he mentioned some names. And if you look around, Nnamdi Kanu has acquired popularity. So this thing you are talking of faction is because Nnamdi Kanu is detained. If he is released, these people that are hiding under IPOB and the other thing, they will not come out. He has that high command. But in negotiation, you don't neglect any person. We negotiate with all of them, and they are ready to embrace peace.
Now, in June this year, I don't remember if I talked to you about it, but there was talk that Mr. Kanu's lawyers might enter into negotiations with the federal government through the office of the Attorney General in order to seek some sort of settlement.
Yes.
Did that ever get off the ground, or is it stalled?
Yeah, well, I think they tried, but like everything about Kanu, at a stage there was a frustration. You know, right from the onset, you remember that the Federal High Court, presided by Binta Nyakos, discharged him of 8 of the 15 charges against him. He appealed, and the 3-man panel unanimously acquitted him of the remaining 7. Ordinarily, federal government didn't obey that thing. Federal government detained him, and not just I said that they were going to appeal. And detained him when you were not ready to appeal. kept him for many months before eventually federal government appealed. That means at the time they said they were going to appeal, they had no case against him. Why did you detain him? So, you see, it's like that his own case seems to be exceptional. And that is why our people they are getting sympathy. The non-state actors are getting sympathy in Igboland because government doesn't seem to treat that side of the country as they treat others. They will tell you other people, Sunday Igbo is working, okay? And others. Why is federal government still detaining Nnamdi Kanu?
So you think the conflict in the southeast is unique? Because, I mean, there are insecurities and conflicts across several other parts of Nigeria. And in fact, in those cases, for example, in the northeast, I mean, they're not going around, you know, taking the people to court. They go in there to kill them.
Insecurity, crisis are natural. And according to Cant Marx, in every society, in every organization, you have, and it is the struggle for the control of resources between two opposing groups, they have and they have not. So it is there. But that of Southeast is unique in the sense that it doesn't have that bearing on the struggle for the control of resources within the people. It has external influence. And that external influence, we believe, we call upon the federal government because Mr. President is Chief Security Officer of the Federation.
Yeah, but you said you talked to some of these agitators
Yes.
and separatists.
Yes.
I mean, what do they say to you? Can't you say to them, I mean, you know, this whole thing, negotiation is a matter of give and take, not take and take.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
What
First,
concessions are they prepared to make?
First, why did you have IPOB? IPOB came up as a result of the belief that the Igbos were grossly marginalized in the affairs, in the governance of the country. Talk of appointment, talk of distribution of projects, talk of other things, talk of state. South is the only state that has only 5. Others have minimum of 6. You can see the recent appointment. Every other zone has a minimum of 8 ministers. Southeast has only 5. So local government, Kano, Kaduna, and Jigawa, if you put their local government together, it's more than that of Southeast put together. The other day, the governor of Bayelsa was also is not in Southeast. But that of Southeast is aggravated. We have only 15 senators. House of Reps. In fact, Kano alone, the number of House of Reps almost more than.
So you're saying that that's the reason IPOB came part of the reason.
Marginalization.
Well, let me ask you this.
Marginalization, yes.
I mean, how does it, even if the points you're making are true,
Yes.
and you know, it's important to emphasize wherever there is injustice,
Yes.
that must be emphasized
Addressed.
and spoken about emphatically.
Yes.
But I don't understand the logic of IPOB inflicting further punishment on that southeast region.
I told you that IPOB has come out several times. I said that they
but they started the sit-at-home thing.
Yeah, they started.
They carried out a lot of attacks.
Non-violence. Both IPOB, MASOB, they believe in non-violence. I've never seen any of them carrying arms. They believe in non-violence. Yes, they know, they believe that they have a good cause to pursue, but they don't believe that it should be done through violent way.
Are you saying that IPOB hasn't carried out violent activities in the southeast?
I wouldn't.
Which they themselves have admitted that they carried out.
No, I wouldn't say that, but IPOB generally, MASOB generally, they believe in non-violence. They believe in non-violence. Igbos believe in non-violence. We don't believe in violence at all. And so,
No,
it's
you know,
possible.
it's. I mean, I don't mean to kind of belabor the point, but
Yes, what is it?
it's important that people who are not from that region
Yes.
and who have nothing to do with the government, but who
Yes.
just are listening in,
Yes.
understand the context in which you're speaking
Yes.
as a way of being enlightened further about what is going on there. what is the logic behind whether or not IPOB has started pulling back, having already muddied the waters?
Yes.
What is the logic behind going to inflict economic hardship on the very people you're saying are being denied economic opportunities and are being marginalized and inflicting violence upon them? I mean, what's the logic of that?
Yes, with some of them, we've talked to them.
Yeah, what do they say to you about that?
They say they have no hands in that they don't believe in that. And that's why we're also asking the federal government, please help us to arrest the perpetrators of this. Find out why on Monday police checkpoints will not be operational. Every other day they will be there.
Right.
Find out who sponsored these people.
If
it is IPOB, arrest them.
Yeah.
We will not come and defend them. If it is IPOB or MASOP, arrest them. But the truth is that federal government has not been able to arrest them. And this is worrisome to us. If IPOB said they have no hand, MASOP said they have no hand, federal government, the chief security officer is the Mr. President. Please arrest the perpetrators of this. Our people are not comfortable. Our people don't want this. So we are essentially business-oriented people. And we want that business to continue.
Right. So it is your sense that part of the reason why this persists is because the federal government is reluctant to apprehend these people, or the insurgents have become so powerful that you really can't just go and pick them up.
Federal government is reluctant in handling the security situations in the southeast.
Yeah, but it's not just that the federal government is faced with challenges
we are not talking
Nigeria.
Of a kinetic angle, because it seems you understand security from kinetic angle. No, part of it, non-kinetic. For example, release of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu is non-kinetic. Then, because the thing has taken time, you have a number of idle youths. You have to rehabilitate them. If you rehabilitate them and they are gainfully employed, they are busy, they won't have time to do a number of these things. Not all of them are in IPOB. And give people a sense of belonging, so that those who are even supporting them will no longer support them. When you come there, say, well, what these people are saying is true.
Right. So the local politicians in the southeast, including the governors, according to you, are unable or unwilling to muster the political will to solve the problem.
I agree with you.
Right. I'm saying what you said, so it's not me that you're agreeing with. I'm simply reiterating what you said. Right.
To tackle the issue, because there are a number of things they should do. It's not federal government that should do everything. There are a number of things the various state government in the southeast should do. There are a number of things other political leaders should do.
Right. So given that the political leaders in the southeast are unable or unwilling to do that which you think they ought to do, who do you think can solve this problem and end the crisis? Will it require the direct intervention of President Tinubu?
Yes, as I said before, the security challenges in the southeast revolved under the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu, because a number of non-state actors used him as an excuse to perpetrate violence in the zone. Let Mr. President, you see, as I told you, Dr. Chukwuemeka Ezife, before he died, he pleaded with Mr. President to release Nnamdi Kanu. I spoke with him barely an hour before he died. Chief Emmanuel Iwanyang did something. Chief Mbazilike Amechi, 93 years, in fact, he pleaded with the Buhari government to give him that as a parting gift to release Mr. Nnamdi Kanu. Even Professor George Obiozo repeatedly, please release Mr. Nnamdi Kanu. If government, federal government, is sensitive to the feelings of the people, we shall be delighted if Mr. President will release Mr. Nnamdi. If the moment Mr. Nnamdi Kanu is released, from what we've found out from our various interaction with the people, security challenges in the southeast will be reduced to barest minimum.
And you are convinced that there are no moves behind the scenes taking place? Because, I mean, we've had members of the National Assembly here who said they've marshaled, I mean, dozens, possibly even over 100 members of parliament who were going behind the scenes to kind of do things. And it's a matter of there's negotiations taking place.
I'm aware of some. But our appeal is that Mr. President should certainly intervene, release Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, and see that peace will return to Southeast. Because it is central. It is fundamental to peace process in the Southeast. If these leaders, these respectable leaders, could all at different times say, look, release this young man, I think they have a point.
Okay.
We've interacted with our people. The moment Mr. Nnamdi Kanu is released, no person will have any reason again to perpetrate violence in the Southeast. And that's why we are appealing. We are still appealing. Whatever it is, let Mr. Nnamdi Kanu be released.
Okay.
So that people will no longer perpetrate violence in the South in his name.
Right. I do hope there are people listening to you.
So, guys, this is one of the things that we keep seeing, that honestly, this marginalization is real. The marginalization in this country is real. The Igbos have been marginalized. We all know that Igbo who recently went to the British office, I mean, possibly the office of the Prime Minister of Britain, or wherever there in the UK, to submit letter notifying them of their desire for the Yoruba nation to secede out of Nigeria. Guess what? Igbo who took that action, the federal government has not said anything. Nobody has spoken. Nobody has arrested him. But when the Igbo say they want to go, guess what? They will send military. They will send police. They will use their tokado or whatever it is being called, you know, to clamp down on the people. Many people have argued that why is it that Igbo who boldly comes out to talk about the secession of the Yoruba nation is not being called out. But when it comes to the Igbos who are really feeling the marginalization of this government, you know, when they ask for their own secession, it is being seen as a terrorist organization. So, guys, a whole lot is happening in Nigeria. And as it stands now, the federal government has to start paying attention to the Southeast. But because, take it or leave it, businesses are crumbling. This government know how they are struggling to survive. So various states have equally got to survive. You have to ensure that all the states are proactive, productive, and working well for your own to equally work. Now that we see all these things on Mondays, Tuesdays, people cannot go out. You may not know how much it's costing the state and also the indigenes themselves. So, guys, it is time for all these things to be brought to an end. It is time to allow the Igbos to breathe. It is time for the federal government to start paying attention to the Igbos, to release Nnamdi Kanu, let and Igbo feel some fresh, some fresh air. So, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Thank you.